Hello everybody, hope you're having a great day. Z here, talking about progress that the flea market has stalled because it's now level 20 and hate everything about it. Now, joking. I actually think the change to the level 20 for the flea market was very good for the progression of Tarkov and just the general economic state that Tarkov is in. I think it's a very healthy state for Tarkov to be in. One thing that kind of supports my point, but more or less I just thought was interesting, was a tweet that BSG made today talking about the most commonly used weapons in the current day of Tarkov, which is about 3 weeks after the wipe. So I'm going to pull that up here right now. So as you can see, some of the weapons are on the graph, and I'm going to go through them real quickly. So we're going to start off with the MP153 shotgun, the most commonly used, all the AK-74M. Then you have some SKSs, the AKS-74U, AKM, Colt, M4, the 8R, yada yada yada. This is the first one that I would consider super meta. However, it is brand new, so that could be why people are trying to gravitate towards it. Is the Mutant, the MK47. Then you have another variant of the SKS, the MP5, and the Mosin. Now, I think this is very interesting, with the exception the Mutant would be the only one that I would call meta, and the M4 maybe being the only one that could possibly be an outlier that is quote-unquote a meta weapon. But that's also because every single USEC in the game starts off with at least 2, and considering, I think last wipe 62% of the player base was USEC, that's a lot of base M4s out there, so that could bring the number up. The rest of these are basically level 1 and level 2 vendor guns. You don't have very many vectors out there in the wild or HKs. I have not seen a single HK this wipe. So I think it does kind of show what kind of state that Tarkov is in. 3 weeks in, I think generally the normal person who plays Tarkov every single day, if this is their game, even if they can't grind it consistently like some of the people out there, you should have the flea market unlocked by now. It's been 3 weeks. Level 20 is a very reasonable amount of time to get in 3 weeks, even if you're only playing 1 to 2 hours a day. So I think generally the most of the player base has the flea market unlocked right now. So I don't think it should be a worry. I don't think people should be like, it should be level 10 again, because that's where most of the economic crisis that comes with Tarkov happens. Going into game, and I'm going to expand on some of these points while looking at the flea market. So we're in game now, and we're looking at the flea market, and I'm just going to go to the barter items, and we're just going to look at bolts, and bolts are sitting at 13k, and the first time I recorded it, they were sitting at 25k, and that was just an hour ago, so thank you. Thank you, players. Thank you. Generally, what I was talking about is I think it brings down a more fair value for items in the game. Generally, the first few weeks of wipe, corrugated hoses are quite expensive. Now, 3 weeks in, the general price of corrugated hoses is 25k. Last wipe, I was crafting corrugated hoses well into the second month of the wipe, and they were still selling for 50k. So I do think it brought down the value of items to what I would call fair, or closer to their vendorable amount. There are some outliers. There's always going to be exceptions. This is a flea market, player-driven economy. There's always going to be peaks and valleys. Just like any other market, it's all driven by supply and demand. However, with the flea market being level 20, it kind of slows down the progression of when people are meeting the supply or the demand that they need a certain item on. Flea market level 10, everyone has access to the flea market at the same time. Essentially, after your first 12 hours in the game, you're probably close to level 10, if not far beyond it. And that just means a lot of people need a lot of items right now, and it drives that price through the roof. With it level 20, the average player and less people get to it super early, so there's not that much demand. Generally, the people who are level 20 early on wipe are always going to be the people who unlock the flea market first. If you increase it to level 30, the same people that unlocked it first right now are going to be the first people to unlock it when it's level 30. There shouldn't be a huge argument of, oh, we'll just keep pushing back when the flea market is open. At level 20, the amount of people that have the market available to them right away is going to be less. Gradually, more and more people get access to the market, and at the same time, the demand for certain items is going down and down because just generally the people who are level 20 and got the flea market bought the items that they need. They don't no longer need them, so the demand is lower. So as it's basically a teeter-totter, and it evened itself out, where when it was level 10, a bunch of people flooded the market, there was a demand, so I can just hike the price up. It's simple economics, coming from someone who isn't an economic, but I digress. I think it's a very healthy place for the environment and the economy of Tarkov. As you can see, a lot of these blighter items are basically what you would expect them to be. Pretty fair value. Few outliers here and there. There's always going to be, especially in the first few days of the wipe. However, at week 3, we're at a healthier state in the wipe than we were last time. One thing I think BSG learned from this wipe and some of the iterations of the market is, as you can see, there's all these different categories. What they're going to do is they're going to like give you subsections of the market that you'll be able to sell on sooner rather than later. If you played this wipe, or you know Tarkov in general, you know the link search function and the filter by item function are very key parts of Tarkov. It's very helpful when building weapons. You did not have this functionality until you were level 20, and that's probably my biggest gripe about the flea market being level 20, as you couldn't use one of the best features in your game. Anyway, they're going to add that so you can actually have that function while using the flea market. But expanding off of that, this is just me projecting. I think they're going to do a little bit more and be like, okay, we want you to be able to have your stash space, and we want you to be able to store weapons or things that you find valuable to you, because if not, with the current state, say you have to have all the upgrade items for a hideout upgrade in your stash at one time, that can take up a lot of room. So they're going to allow you to upgrade it in parts. I think they're going to do that with a flea market. Say once you hit level 10, you'll be able to sell barter items, for example. Doesn't matter what it is. Then say when level 20 hits, you can sell anything that's in the gear category or the weapon category. This is just an example. I don't know if they're actually going to do this. I just could see this happening in the market. I think ammo might be restricted to like level 25, 30, for example. Provisions and medical treatment at 10. Keys at, I want to say 20, but at 10, it would help with some of the quest progression, even though I think that's in a very good state right now, because you could just buy the keys right away. You would just cruise through quests. Without that, it required you to search a little bit, which I kind of liked, but I don't know. Those are just some examples, and I could definitely see that happening. Just some of my like projection. Tell me what you think down below. If you think that's a good idea, please don't hesitate. I would love to discuss this with you. Tell me the pros and cons of the flea market at level 20. Tell me if you're a super hardcore player or if you just play it a couple times a week. I just want to hear some of your thoughts. Love to discuss this with you, but that's all I have. If you have topics for any other videos, or you just want to chat, please put it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. If not, if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. I hope you have a great day. And last but not least, the most important thing you can do is have a great day.